Friends.
Okay, wonderful.
Are we rolling, Brian?
Yeah, we're rolling. I'd like to call. We don't have a quorum, do we? You need one more. I'd like to call finance to order
At 5
for
o'clock?
July 19th, 5 o'clock. If you'll call roll
Yes, sir. Dr. Jones,
here.
Counselor Walton, Counselor Alomar,
We don't have a quorum
I know.
Counselor Smith,
here.
Counselor Harden.
Okay.
So we have a quorum.
We do not have a quorum, but we're hoping that we do. So we're going to hold off on dispensing
Smith, Jones, and Smith.
Smith and Jones. That's the
Here's
There you
Harden.
go.
All right, I
Okay.
was about to text John. Here he
Okay,
is.
and let the record reflect that Mr. Harden has joined the committee room, and I'm happy that we're in the committee room. So we now have a quorum. Okay, so before we do anything, I wanted to, we have our bond consultants, Mike Dunn and Gary Ream from Stiefel, and I wanted them to give a report kind of where we are and some potential opportunities that we have. And I have a kind of a schedule of what I would like. I just want you to be aware of what is going on and kind of the schedule, but I wanted them to come to us and kind of give us a report on where we are and some recommendations. So,
I'm gonna defer to my younger colleagues.
Okay.
And Mr.
Gary?
Reed, we just forwarded you a document, so would you just hit delete, because Robert just told me about a number that needs to be revised. So we
No
will send the new one before I leave today.
delete that, yeah, delete
Yeah.
that.
We do need, and it's to the
Okay.
good, it's a good change.
Okay, good. Well, we provided an update to the city. We had discussion in the 1st of March, but first sent numbers on a refinancing consideration for the city's Series 2016 warrants, the 1 penny sales tax plus refunding, large issue in 2016, that we really started looking at over a year ago. And last fall, we took a bite of that rather than refinance the whole thing, refunded approximately $35 million at the time, generated approximately 15% of net present value savings, or about $5.4 million of cash for the city. The city to use improvements or other lawful purposes. The remaining 78 million or so of callable par is what we've been evaluating throughout this year. Throughout January, U.S. Treasuries rallied or yields decreased substantially, such that in early February, we reached out to the city about a refunding opportunity on the remaining Series 2016 warrants. And in early February, that generated about 7 million of net present value savings, or about 9% of the par amount. But really, literally, by the time we could meet and get with the city on it, in those following 2 weeks, rates went away from us. So that by early March, it had sort of become what we call an inefficient taxable advance refunding. And we said at that time that if savings levels should return to when we initially reviewed it in January, then we would reach back out to you. Well, that has occurred. So we prepared an update with the market as of July 9th on those same Series 2016 warrants, and the net present value savings levels returned to approximately 7 million, or 9% of the principal amount refunded. So we believe that's pretty attractive. We sort of always detailed this with the city as far as this versus waiting till the future when the actual call date is on these in 2026, and shown how much tax exempt rates would have to increase. Gone through all that same analysis. We looked at a smaller, taking another small bite like we did last time, of maybe between 25 and 40 million of the total 77 million that is callable in this issue. And all those things look very attractive. Even since then, these materials that we prepared were as of July 9th. In the week and a half or 2 weeks since, treasuries have rallied or decreased in yield another 15 to 20 basis points, such that that 7 million of total NPV savings that I've referenced is, as of this afternoon, about 8.5 million. So it's very compelling, but this is also relatively volatile. A 10 basis point move in treasuries constitutes about 940,000 of net present value on that 77 million of warrants. So this can come and go, improve or deteriorate in performance. But we think that given the levels were compelling when we initially discussed it, we've returned to that and then some, and we think it makes sense to start to prepare to enter the market, talk to the rating agencies and prepare offering document then look at approving the financing so that we're in a flexible position to enter the market as quickly as possible.
And so the 8 million, that is assuming we refund the entire amount.
The entire amount.
77 million. It
And
would
to-
be less if we decide not to go that way.
Right, and I want to give some context in that a year ago, on everything that was outstanding on Series 2016, on this 77 million that's left,
Yeah.
if we had done it last September, October, that would have generated 5.6 million.
So we were
So
good
it's-
to wait.
And so today it's 8.5 for about 50% better performance than if we had done it back then. So the waiting has proved beneficial
Okay, all right, that's good.
today.
Okay, and so I mainly wanted to, and you know, Mr. Harden, you're big on rules, and this was not on my agenda, but I felt it important to have them provide a report, because I want to provide a structure for kind of how we go from here. I mean, as we're talking about, time is of the essence. We hope that things stay, maybe get even better, but we could potentially have ratings calls with S&P and Moody's for next week. Melody and Robert have been working very hard to get everything ready for them. Those are the emails that have been going back and forth. If you have a ratings call next week, we would put it on the agenda on the 26th. So under new business, or no, under committee referral agenda. So it would come to finance to us on August 2nd. We could talk about it then. And then on the 9th, we would vote on moving forward. And the different options, you know, we can do the partial or we can do the full. So we want to, at that point, we will make a decision on the 9th. And then we would, you know, need unanimous consent to move forward on the 9th as we're reading the ordinance. And then we could move forward the next day on the refinance. So that's kind of where we are.
Is that timing good enough? I mean, judging how volatile it is.
It is as fast as we can go because of the rating agencies. In order to go back to their credit committee and produce a rating, they're quite busy with
So
other
they might not get back
municipalities
to us
doing the same
until
thing.
6th,
So
maybe.
S&P can only meet by Friday the 6th to release a rating, so that would allow us to set the following.
So the 26 wouldn't do us any good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because they
Yeah.
wouldn't be ready yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to just throw that out there. If anybody has questions, bring them up now or you know, between now and when we talk about it in finance. But I wanted to just give a quick report tonight on that.
Yeah, I guess I'd love to see what you're doing, writing some kind of, so just to understand it. I know enough about bonds to be dangerous, but so we can kind of
You
see
got one of those
how all that comes
Ms.
out.
Smith and Mr. Harden.
Does it make sense? Has the
We can
10-year bonds
distribute this to
dropped?
everybody.
Substantially.
So 10-year bond, what about
The
the
10-year was at 119, 1.9119. It was, when we ran those numbers, the reflection there, I think it's about a 135, 137.
Yeah.
Something in that range. So,
I mean, it's like catching a falling knife a little bit.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It was at a 150 a month or so ago, which I thought was extraordinarily low.
Okay.
Good, outstanding.
About
77.
Or
77
left.
million.
Well, that's on the 2016s, and it's actually, that's just the
That's
callable
just
amount,
the
so there's really,
70.
Oh, there's more
We've
than
still
that.
got,
there's 99 million on the 16, but those first few maturities are not callable, so there wouldn't be economically advantageous to take those out. These are only the 2027 through 2041 maturities that are callable. So that's 77 of 99 total.
we still,
Talking about here.
I'm trying to remember, I don't remember. We had the 2013,
2012.
12. And what we do, did we do nothing with that?
No,
last
12
time?
was refunded
No.
along with this bite of 16 last
We
time.
did
So
all
the
of 2000.
2020 issue
Right.
was 49 million. That was
Yeah.
the balance of the 12s and that $35 million bite of the,
We did all the
26.
12, but just a small portion of the 16.
Yeah, read that over, and then if you have questions, John, just, you know, feel free and reach out. Get clarification.
I know this is one of those things that you can't really predict.
I mean,
because
it's
things are all over the place.
catching up.
Is there a
on the
chance
line.
that it would be like in February, if we don't act on it, then things
Sure.
would just go away?
Yeah. So at least we'll be prepared and
Yeah.
be ready when that happens.
Are we also talking about redoing what we just redid last fall?
No.
no.
Okay.
last fall, you refunded about 35 million of the 2016 issue. We didn't do all of them because we felt like there would be a better opportunity. And
I
that's-
remember
Down the road.
that.
Yeah. And we're there.
Here we are.
Here we are. Okay. Thank y'all very much for being able to report on that. So that's what we'll do.
We'll send you the revised before we leave and probably, and then we probably need to talk.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay. Well, yeah, thank y'all.
Good evening. Thank you.
Y'all too.
Okay. And if we can start at the top,
I'd make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented.
for July the 12th. Okay.
Yes. for July 12th.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Second by Mr. Harden. Any questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. That's 3-0. Passes. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take the last item out of order, 130521. We have Zach Clifton here to give us an audit presentation, and appreciate you being here to be able to do that. And I'll just turn it over to you.
All right.
I
So-
gave a high level overview, but Dr. Jones,
I
everybody's
wanted-
definition of high level
Yeah.
is different.
Yeah. Okay.
For me, it was very high level.
Hey, everybody, I'm Zach Clifton. I'm at DMSS. I'm just gonna go over quickly a few items. I know Robert presented you with a couple of things. These are our governance letters and our management letters. Since he gave you those, I'll just note that on the management letter, there's different levels of control deficiencies. There's material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, control deficiencies, and then technically there's an other matter. So on here, it's just going to note ways, these are two other matters that are ways that we saw that that y'all could strengthen your internal controls with. And we've already discussed these with Robert and Melody. It's just a couple written policies that can be put in place. There's some policies there, we're just writing them down. It's just some things that by the books, if you're looking at the details, having a written area for that is going to be better. So it's like the lowest, it was not material or financials. There's no like deficiencies. It was just some noted items that we could, that y'all could approve on. So that's really all that management letter is. There. The other one is the governance letter. That's really just stating that we had no issues with management while we were performing an audit. There were no, changes in accounting policies or anything like that. And yeah, so that's really all that's saying. And then I'll get into.
You have to tell him today that you and I, that Robert, our books and yours were off like $11,000, and it was driving me crazy with us working on the line stuff. So I called Zach today. I was like, we were to the penny what happened.
Yeah.
We actually found
We
one
fixed
journal entry that we had forgotten to make that he made on his side. But so see,
Everything's.
we have to get down to the detail to
Okay.
give you the high level that works because it was making all the line numbers work.
She is, but hey, it makes it work though.
That's right.
Yeah, the next thing, I'm not sure if everyone has their packages from like the whole financial statements and the single audits, but this little package that Robert emailed out to everyone, it's the single audit report. This is something new for you guys this year. It's a compliance audit for when you expend funds, essentially federal funds over $750,000 in a fiscal year. So when you, with the COVID funds that you guys received, because it was based on already expended funds of payroll and everything like that, those are technically federal funds for that for 9/30 and 20. And because of that, y'all had to have this single audit. And essentially, it's just two separate reports that are saying that over that program, we found no issues, and over the financial statements related to that program, we found no issues. And that's what essentially these two reports on this audit report are going to say. And it's going to have a little detail in the back of how much was related to this fiscal year. And going forward, I know that I've talked to Robert and Melody a lot. You guys are going to have around $3 million in this fiscal year and possibly next fiscal year. So that is going to require this audit again. Now that we've had, they've had an idea of what we're requesting and discussing, it should go a lot smoother moving forward now that we're we're all on the same page with those, since they've never been through that before. It's all.
We've been able to skate by for 11 years. One year we almost got it with a
It was
grant we
close,
got.
but
It used to be 500,000
Yeah,
and then we
they-
almost
they
got
upped
hit
it,
then and they
so-
upped it to 750.
yeah, so, and the PPP loans and everything like that, they're not under this. This is from the grant that was received from the state, through the federal government. So, but yeah, no, there were no issues there. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's easy. And then, of course, in the financials, this is essentially, all we did was compile information that they diligently kept throughout the year. The only thing in here that's ours is page 4 and 5. This is our audit report. The audit report says that we presented an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level we can give you guys. Means that there's no material issues or material misstatements related to the financial statements. So yeah, so that's really that as far as our individual information that like we present that is ours. Outside of that, there's some information that I found that, of course, in the financials, y'all don't have them out, it's not going to matter as much, but the couple big things it's going to show.
There's some
your-
extra copies here. if anybody wants.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna,
they're right here.
on page 35, if y'all were talking about your total debt, it's gonna be a little breakdown of your total debt as of 9/30/20, and that y'all had some changes since then. So that's gonna be your details of all the debt for the year and the changes in payments and everything. And then on page, what was it, 44? This is a breakdown of your net pension liability. And then the final, balance on that is 44 million of unfunded. The total pension liability is 111, and you funded about 67 million. So that's right around 60%, which is on state average, higher than federal, higher than other states. So I mean that's in line. So of course this is as of 9/30/19 because everything is a year lagging. So those are some of the big numbers. Other than that, on the fund financial statements, let's see, just the phase here.
So let me ask you going back on that. This is a huge problem across the country, is this pension liability problem. If you go to California, you go to Illinois, you go to the East Coast, all those states are in huge trouble. Hundreds of billions of dollars in this.
Right.
We're at, you said about 60% of what, so.
And honestly, the amount that you have in your funded portion, due to everything that happened with the pandemic, everything kind of dipped because it's a lot of it's based on the market, right? And so you're going to get money, and so a lot of that's going to grow based on the market. As the market grows, and we're getting back out of that, you guys should see a huge turnaround even next year, just from that. But there'll be changes from the deferred inflows and outflows and everything like that. So there'll be some positive changes related to that next year, that's for sure. So because this is as of 9/30/20, so nothing really turned around at all yet. So yeah. Okay, and then I was on page 20. Really, it's just going to show a detail of your operations and general fund and some your other major funds. You had about 60,000 in change in fund balance on the general fund. That's after you guys had transferred out some funds to capital and other in debt service and everything like that. And then other than that, on the capital projects, you have a lot going on in your capital projects. So, it shows a loss of 2.2 million, but there's a lot of projects out there going on. And just for, information, last year, there was about $1 million worth of capital outlay coming out of that. And then this year was about 4 million, right? So there's a huge difference. So that's really going to show that's really the big difference for this year.
Is that this year, meaning the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2020?
Yes, everything in here is going to be as of 2020. So
We were doing the schools
yes,
and all the money.
Well,
Yes.
the school was in Fund 26, it was in that government warrant fund.
That
It
doesn't
wasn't in
count.
Fund
yeah,
12.
but yeah.
It wasn't.
So
The other
that one
ones
shows
That's not our capital.
that's on there as well as like the 26 million loss, but that's really just you guys paying the school for the changes. So I mean, those are the big things that I saw that I would like, I wanted to notice. Of course, I wanted to thank Robert and Melody for helping us. This was always a huge undertaking to Auto City. We love working with those guys. So if y'all have any questions, you can hit me now or,
You see us doing a pretty good job with the CAT approach to the
Yeah.
general septic county.
Yes. So most of the audit adjustments that we, not audit adjustments, most of the adjustments we make are for financial statement purposes, just clearing it up for how it's presented in our particular financial statements. There's nothing really big as far as like, accruals and things like that, we work through together, and that they're making them and sending them to us instead of us having to like give them to them. So that's huge.
And
They have my contact.
Thank you
info.
for all your help. Think you helped me find out 11,000 because I wouldn't go to sleep tonight
Just
without.
disconnect everything.
okay,
So y'all just let me
Okay.
know.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
okay. Starting, so I guess the proper motion is to accept the report from our
I would
auditor.
make a motion to accept the audit report.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mrs. Smith, second by Mr. Harden. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign, 3-0. It passes, and we'll send that to council for next week. Starting at the top, 160115, past, present, future sidewalk projects. Mr. Smith, I don't think we have any, you don't have anything new to report on that tonight, right? Okay, so we'll carry that over without objection. 250417, consideration of 18th Street revitalization project. Mr. Kendrick, we don't have anything new.
Spoke to most of them Monday. It's on fast track. Waiting on me.
Okay. Well, speed of the federal government, I guess, right? Okay, so we'll carry that over without objection. That's really holding up our whole thing, but we knew that going in, and we're gonna do the best we can. So we'll carry that over. 190521, request for consideration of sale of property located at 311 Oxmoor Road.
You'll carry that over.
Okay, so we need to carry that over one more time. We're still working through that.
I think by the next time around, we'll have everything in place.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, any other questions from anyone? Like, we'll bring something up. If not, we are adjourned.